Sup, Nicholas?
What up, Marty? On the other coast of the United States, man. Yeah,
How's
yeah.
over there? How's the West Coast?
Actually, this week has been nothing short than amazing because it's been pretty cloudy out here in LA, so the temperature drops. So it wasn't that hot. It was like mid
Right.
70s, low 80s. But next week, actually, no, the end of this week is going to be back to like high 90s. So there's your weekly weather report in Los Angeles.
I love how like when I ask you how's it going over there, your first thought is going to the weather.
I mean, what else do you want me to fucking talk about, man?
Your life, dude. What is going on in your life? How's it going there in your life?
Okay, how about this? I've been trying to go to different churches every week because I don't know. I just felt like
Seriously?
I've been pretty distant from church. And I mean, you know me personally, so you know that I have a different relationship with the higher power that I believe in. Don't consider myself necessarily religious, but I am spiritual and I believe in a higher power, and I don't know, like I pray like multiple times a day. So I've been trying to go to different churches. Not this
Have you
past
gone
week.
to?
Hillsong?
Sorry,
Is that
go
what you're
ahead.
gonna ask?
No. Yeah. Or Churchill? No.
No, Hillsong.
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 Hillsong. Yeah. Have you gone there?
No, I thought about going, and then I saw that it's in downtown LA, and I kind of try to stay away from downtown LA.
Right.
So, but not this past week, but the week before, I went to Mosaic Church, which was pretty nice. The only thing that I didn't like is that I expected it to be live, and it wasn't. It was all pre-recorded into a video. They started playing a video, and I thought it was just like the first 5 minutes of it because the pastor started talking about giving and like donating money. So I was like, okay, he's gonna have a 5 minute video of how we should donate to the church and this and that, da, 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 and then it's gonna get into the word. No, didn't happen. The entire freaking service was about giving, and it was like 40 minutes, and it was all video format. It was actually a really good. It was really good, like what he was saying and stuff like that. But the fact that it was all video format, I'm like, bro, I could have watched this from home.
Yeah. Exactly. If it's like a video, what the hell? What's the point of coming in just to see it in a projector or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed by that. But the cool thing that I did like, especially being out here in LA, nobody had to wear a mask inside a church, so that felt a little bit liberating. I was like, ooh, this is nice. Because everywhere else
Why
you have to
they're
freaking wear a
exempt
mask.
from like the law?
Hey, man, my religion doesn't allow me to wear masks, so sorry.
What's your religion?
I'm just a nomad in the religion zone.
Mm. So has it been helping your spiritual uh thing?
Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit of like food for the soul, you know,
Mm-hmm.
almost like when you listen to certain speakers and certain people that inspire you, it inspires you for the week and kind of re-energizes you to focus on the things you need to focus on. So I kind of think the same thing, why can't I devote an hour, 2 hours of my week to feed my spiritual side and just feel closer to the higher power? But this past week, I picked out a church, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. It was like one of those old school gothic looking churches.
Mm-hmm.
And I get there with my friend, and it turns out that they're only doing it live. So the church was closed. So I didn't
Oh,
go to
like
church this past
live
weekend.
video.
Yeah, live video, exactly. And
Right.
then it was funny because like we walked around, and then I saw this other church from a distance, and I was like, maybe God's trying to nudge us to go to this church. And then I get closer to the church, and it was Catholic, and it was in Spanish. So I was like, all right, that's two X's. Maybe if it was Catholic and English, I would have gone, but the fact that it's Catholic and Spanish, I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do this. So we just went to breakfast.
So what made you want to start like looking for a church to attend?
I just
Have you
felt
been
like
feeling like more down, or have you been like in need of, you know, whatever it is that churchgoers need?
I mean, it's kind of what I said before. I just feel like I needed to feed my spiritual side. And it's been, especially because of the pandemic, it's been over a year that I've been to church physically out here in
Mm-hmm.
LA. Actually, no, I've never been to church physically out here in LA. So
Right.
I just wanted to give it a try. And I kind of wanted to do like different churches every week, go to a different church, see how I like it, and kind of do that for a couple months. And then eventually maybe choose one that I'd want to go to frequently. And I don't have to go every week, but, once every other week or once a month, whatever. I don't know. I enjoy the morality of church. I enjoy what they bring to the table. I may not necessarily believe in a lot of things they believe in, but they have good intentions, and that's what I try to get from it. It's not like
Right.
you're going to church and they try to teach you how to become a worse person. They're only trying to build up your person, how you can become the best version of yourself. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get from it.
Right. The thing that bothers me is like just how these pastors are rich, because they give this whole speech or whatever, this whole sermon, and then they really get you emotional, and then that's when they like convince you to give some of your money to the church,
Right.
and that's where I have a problem with,
No, yeah. I
just
mean,
because I feel like a lot. I don't know. A lot of times they're not really utilizing that money for good. They're just kind of paying themselves, and depending on how many members are in the church, then they get really paid.
no,
Like
yeah.
you see pastors like driving freaking Rolls Royce and shit, like some
Hmm.
crazy, or like just live a lavish lifestyle, have like a crazy ass mansion, and then that's when I think it becomes a problem.
No, I can definitely agree to that and attest to it because I've definitely been to some churches where the pastors are
So
freaking
have you donated
rolling in dough.
since you visited these churches?
No, no.
No.
I mean, I know it says. I mean, I don't. Like I said, I have a different belief system. I believe in the morality and the values that the Bible brings, but I don't necessarily believe in the Bible. So there's like there's a lot of things. Like for example, the Bible, it tells you that you have to give 20% of your income to the church, and
20.
20%.
It says that.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
but I don't necessarily believe in that per se. I believe that you should give. I think giving is a great thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you give it to that church. I think just giving to the community, giving your time to people that need it, teaching somebody something, like there's that old tale of the fisherman, give me a fish and you'll feed me for a day. Teach me how to fish and you'll feed me for the rest of my life.
So you just pick and choose on what you want to believe in.
Sure. If you want to put it that way, sure. You thought
Hmm.
you were gonna get me with that, huh? You thought you were gonna get me somewhere with that one. You thought you were gonna talk down
No,
on
I
me.
just don't
Nah.
understand. I just don't understand how you can believe in certain things from the same book, but not other
I just
things.
said that I don't. I believe in the morals and the values of the Bible, but I don't believe in like the stories and like a lot of the things. I think the stories are
Right.
meant to teach you morals and values, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, the whole giving thing, I believe in giving. I don't necessarily believe that I have to give 20% of my income to a church. But I do
Yeah.
believe that you have to give to other people, whether it's time or money.
Damn, 20% is a lot. What the hell? I don't know if I could do 20%. Fuck that.
What
I do
can you
like
do?
paying myself. I do like paying myself 20% of what I earn,
Yeah, you
which
greedy
would be
bastard.
like putting no, no, no. I'm saying like putting aside that money for like a rainy day, or like
Saving
buying
20%.
something. Yeah, either saving or investing 20% of my income,
Right.
you know? So that's what I believe in.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be that. Maybe I can incorporate it like that. So like you don't have to necessarily give it to the church, but you can like give it to yourself. Like put it aside or
I think
invest.
I think the moral of it is to be able to give to others. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be your money, but at least your time. to help a community, to help do something for the community, I don't know, bro. I think even like children, because I think children are the most vulnerable people in the earth because they're young and they could believe in whatever. When you donate your time to children, I think you can impact them in a whole new level, whether than adults that already have pre-made mindsets.
That's true, because like I feel like a lot of things that happened when I was a kid, I still remember that shit till today.
For sure.
Like even if like a person impacted me like in a good way, I always remember it. Or like in a bad way, I always remember it.
Right.
And it's
Man.
funny how that happens, right? Like you remember that shit. Like people don't notice like when they're saying something to a kid, how much it's gonna impact, or when you do something to a kid, like how much is gonna impact their life
Yeah, for
for
sure.
the rest of their life.
That's why I think children are the most important group of people in this world, because depending on how you treat them, what you teach them, they're going to be the future at the end of the day. They're going to be our age, and then they're going to be running the world. So you want to have a positive impact on them so that when they are running the world, they can treat the world in a positive way, as opposed to, thinking of all those traumatic experiences that they've been through and bringing more trauma into the world.
I feel like kids are losing their respect though. Like they don't give a fuck about the elder anymore.
Yeah, but it's always been like that throughout history. Like our parents could say the same thing about us, like when we were kids, and then their parents could say the same thing about them when they were kids.
Yeah, but I feel like it's worse than ever, bro. Like, cause even as far as violence, like violence is like super bad when it comes to like teenagers now, cause they don't give a fuck. They're like just completely fucking reckless.
Yeah, but it's always been like that, bro. Like at least for our generation. Think about yourself. Like you used to be way more reckless when you were younger, just like me. Now I think about shit
Yeah, but
twice
I
before
wasn't
doing
out
it.
here shooting people, bruh.
Sure, bro, but
These
it
kids
depends
got
on the environment that
guns
you
and
grew up
shit.
in.
Yeah, I guess it does depend on your environment, but I don't know. Even as far as like respecting the elders, I feel like there's less respect nowadays. Like kids don't want to know about. Like they just don't care. I feel. I don't know. I guess it could apply to us like back in the days too.
Yeah, and I also think that these stories that you hear get amplified because of social media and because of the internet age that we live in nowadays, as opposed to 30 years ago. You wouldn't hear about this shit. You wouldn't hear about things that happen in another city. Nowadays you hear about all that stuff.
Yeah. Like if anything happens to any city, I'm gonna hear about it.
Right.
Versus
But
before, how there was no internet.
yeah, exactly. But speaking of church, man, I remember I told you a little bit of a juicy story that I heard this past week from a church that I grew up in South Florida, which is the Brazilian First Baptist Church. So there's this pastor, Pastor Silai. I'm gonna put all his
Damn,
business
you really
out
got to
there.
put his business out there, huh?
Hell yeah, bro. What he did is wrong.
Damn, you just over here exposing people.
I'm exposing, bro. I'm gonna let people know this story. So
Naming
about
them and shit.
naming him. So about 3-4 years ago, he's the pastor of the church. He's literally been the pastor of that church since I started attending the church when I was like 7 years old, 8 years old. And he married my mother and her ex-husband.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So he's really like in the community like that. And he's the top Brazilian pastor in the United States. So he's very well known in our community. And
he's rich.
He's rich. Oh, for sure he's rich. He got that money. But so 3-4 years ago, he got caught committing adultery, which is a crazy no-no for the church community. And
Meaning he was cheating on his wife.
yes, he was cheating on his wife and he got caught. And one of the pastors below him found out And the pastor said, hey, it's either you tell the members what you did or I'm going to do it.
Damn, that
So,
guy was waiting for him to slip up, huh?
for sure, bro, for sure.
He's like,
But
bitch, I'm gonna take your position.
100%. But also at the same time, it's like, bro, you're the pastor, my guy. You're
Oh,
what
yeah, of
everybody
course.
in the community look up to as like, like you're supposed to be the epitome of all this.
Yeah. If you're gonna put yourself in that position, you can't fuck up.
No, no. Especially if you're banking, you're making that much money off of all these people. They're expecting something out of you, and what they're expecting is you to maintain in line.
To be a
So,
saint.
basically. So, this was the night service at 8 p.m. He went up on stage and he said, I have a confession to make. I cheated on my wife. And then people started going nuts. Like, women fainting, people like screaming like, oh my God. It just got crazy. And he said
Did
that
he
he's
even finish saying what he was like? Did he even finish like the sermon?
for sure, for sure. Well, no, he didn't finish the sermon, but he basically just talked about how he's gonna step down from his position.
I was there.
Oh, me
I
too.
wish I was there to see some shit like that.
See, that's
I would love to catch that shit on tape.
oh my God.
Fucking world star.
And of course they're live streaming, and of course they stop the live stream as soon as that shit happens. I'm like, bro, keep the
Really?
camera rolling, bro. Like, don't you watch
Why,
World
you saw
Star?
the live stream?
No, I didn't watch the live stream, but I heard
I
these
want to
things.
see that shit. Is that available?
I try to look for it. Trust me, I try to look for it.
Damn. They probably took that bitch down.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it fucks up the whole community. But yeah. So he was basically saying that he's gonna step down from his position and he's gonna get rehabilitated and work on his marriage and go to counseling and all this stuff. So he stepped down as a pastor, but he continued being a member of the church. And of course, the church lost a lot of members because people were like, yo, you're the pastor. How can you do this and tell us that we can't do certain things? Like, who the hell are you to say all these things?
Yeah.
So they lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of members. And a couple years later, the members of the church accepted him as being the pastor again. Like, I think like a year or two ago. I think a year ago. They finally accepted him back as the pastor. He started preaching again, and he became the main pastor. And,
Wait, so this was years ago that happened?
yeah, this was like 3 years ago. And then, and then last year, year and a half, they accepted him again as the main preacher. And he took his position again, and the church started building back up and stuff like that. 2 weeks ago, he's preaching in the morning at the 9 o'clock service, and the husband that he had an affair with his wife. Does that make sense?
The husband that had an affair with his wife.
So
he had an affair.
Right. He had an affair, but the woman's husband that he had an affair with.
Right. Okay.
He shows up to the sermon and he says, "You bastard, you're still cheating on your wife with my wife." And then people go fucking ballistic. They lose their shit. People
automatically like believe the guy.
Bro, why would you go to a sermon and basically say that, hey, my wife is cheating on me with you? Like, you wouldn't do that unless it's true.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I would hate the dude after the fact and like try to ruin his reputation too. But
sure,
people just, assumed that he was right.
Well, I mean,
he could have been lying. He could have been just like, trying to ruin his reputation.
Sure, but what happens? The pastor says, "This is true. I am doing this. I'm planning on divorcing my wife, and I love this woman, the one that he's having an affair with, and I plan on marrying her." In the middle of the service, bro.
Ugh.
So the members go buck wild. They had to call the cops because some members wanted to beat the living shit out of this guy.
Damn.
They started spitting on him. It got wild. Oh, and on top of this, to make it even juicier, Pastor Silai, the pastor, He's the one that married the woman that he's having an affair with and her husband.
Jesus Christ, what a freaking twist.
And imagine like what the guy that's getting cheated on is thinking. Like, they have 3 children together. Like, are these even my kids?
Ugh. Oh my God. Wait, it's so he's not sure?
Who knows?
It's been happening since like before they got married?
Who knows? I don't know.
What the hell?
Imagine that, bro.
Ain't no one perfect, bro.
No, there's nobody perfect. But if you're going to be a fucking pastor, you better be the closest thing to perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At least, like, all right, if you're going to take some damn money, cool. But damn, keep your dick in your pants, my guy. Like, you're already getting mad money off of these people. Like, keep it together. Hold it together.
Damn.
Wildness, bro. So, of course, that taints the whole Brazilian community. And man, that church's been around since I was a little kid. I'm sure that church is gonna falter because there's no way it's gonna hold together, bro. They're gonna lose too many members. People aren't gonna go back to that shit. You know, there's that old saying of "fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me."
Yeah, but a lot of people don't listen to that advice.
Sure, but a lot of people will, and a lot of people are going to leave that church and look for other churches.
Well, they can just kick him out and get a new pastor.
Yeah,
they already have like a whole system down, like a whole establishment, a whole church.
No, yeah, they do, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. If they already lost a lot of members the first time around, I'm sure they're going to lose a lot more members the second time around. Right. And then I also saw a YouTube video on this guy in Brazil from Minas Gerais, where the pastor's from, making claims that he's had other affairs with other women.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. This guy is not meant to be a pastor, bro.
No. I mean, think about it, bro. He said, I'm going to divorce my wife and I'm going to be with this woman, which happens to be like 20, 30 years younger than him.
Oh, wow. So where is the woman in all this? Like, does she say anything? Is she there?
I don't know. I don't know details of that. But she's a member of the church.
Right. But I'm sure she got, like, you know, told a few too.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Of course. And I mean, think about it. Like, think about being the pastor's wife and sitting front row listening and watching all this unfold.
I'd be so embarrassed.
I wouldn't know what to do. I'd just start twitching my eye.
Like, up there again. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's crazy how church members like knows everyone else's business too.
Yeah.
Cause like I grew up in church, and my mom and dad were going to church, and like when they got divorced, everybody knew our business.
It's part of it, honestly.
Because I mean, Brazilians are already like that, and then mix religion on top of that, it gets even worse. And like that probably like sometimes I wonder like why I'm so reserved, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons.
Because of church?
Is because yes, like bro, I hate when other people know my business when I didn't put that shit out. Like when I just told one person, or you know, the closest people that I thought were close, and then they go and tell other people, and then like by the time you know it, everybody knows your business.
Yeah. Especially
in the church community, bro.
Yeah.
It is like one person telling the other like so quick.
Yeah, that's what happens in the community, bro, because I feel the same way about just in Brazil in general, because I remember when I would go to Brazil, and I have a huge family, but a lot of my family members live in like the same neighborhood. And if one person did one thing, everybody else in the neighborhood knew what was going on. And it's just like this whole drama thing. And
yeah,
everybody's talking about everybody. And I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah, that's the one thing I cannot get used to in a Brazilian community, bro. Like, I am so reserved when it comes to that. Because of that, I feel. Because I know how it can get. if you put out your business like that,
Mm-hmm.
especially like confidential information.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Nah,
Yeah.
it gets crazy, but yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that community. I just know it's crazy.
Yeah. Church drama, bruh.
So I asked myself this week, why did we invade Afghanistan? And I mean, the obvious answer is Taliban, right?
You back in 20 years ago, you're saying?
Yeah, well, not 20 years ago. We invaded Afghanistan like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. We went to Iraq 20 years ago.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But isn't like Osama bin Laden? Wasn't he in Afghanistan?
Yeah. I don't know if it was like, I don't know. But regardless,
I think
why?
we invade, bro. We've been at war with Afghanistan, not with Afghanistan, but we've been at war like in that area of Afghanistan for like since 9/11.
Well, yeah, the whole, I guess Iraq and Afghanistan is all close together, but we weren't even going after the Taliban in the beginning. We were going after Al
No,
Qaeda, and
which
then
is another group, right?
which is another terrorist group, and then the Taliban just came out of nowhere and we invaded Afghanistan.
Wait, did we ever?
Wait, hold on.
Did we ever beat Al Qaeda?
I mean, we killed Osama, so I don't know if he was
Oh,
considered
that he was
Taliban
part
or
of
Al
Al.
Qaeda. I think he was
Oh,
considered Al
so he was
Qaeda.
part of that.
Yeah. But I mean always the obvious answer is going to be, oh, to kill the Taliban, that's why we invaded Afghanistan. But is it always really that simple with the United States? I mean, I don't want to sympathize with terrorists because I mean I'm pretty ignorant in the subject, as you can see, but there is also other regimes and governments like the Taliban that run countries that we don't invade, like Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. Like the Taliban is implementing like these laws, the Shira laws, which is like an Islamic religious law derived from the Quran. But
Mm-hmm.
there are 15 other countries in the world that still run the Shara laws. Shara. I don't know how to pronounce it. So like, why haven't we invaded these countries? You know, like
Well, there's got to be something in Afghanistan that we
that.
want,
That's what I'm saying. That's what
which
I'm
I think
saying.
is what some like fucking natural resources.
Exactly. Ding, 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 ding. Because now, when you talk about people are like, oh no, we invaded them because of. Wait, hold on.
This man about to yell at his roommates for making noise.
Sorry. Getting back into it, it's like when you talk about Afghanistan, people are always talking about, oh, they don't treat women correctly, or the human rights laws are all out of whack out there. But after doing a little bit of research, I found that in 2018 and 2019, the UN described the human rights situation in Yemen as being literally the worst in the world. Yemen. We never talk about Yemen. You know what I mean?
Or Saudi Arabia,
Or Saudi Arabia, exactly. In Saudi
like
Arabia,
beheading people and shit.
exactly. In Saudi Arabia, so in the Shara laws, they have this thing called Hudud, Hudud, which stands for boundaries in Arabic. And with people that are homosexual, for example, what do they do with them? They either whip them, execute them, or imprison them. These are things that we're not talking about, you know? Like Saudi Arabia is doing the same damn thing. Yemen also ranked last in Global Gender Gap Index for the last 14 years. 14 years. So it's like we don't talk about this. So again, why did we invade Afghanistan? Like you mentioned, natural resources. So doing a little bit more research, what did I find? Afghanistan has the largest reservoir of lithium in the world in their little section of the Himalayan mountains. They have over $1 trillion worth of natural resources in that mountain with precious metals. Things like iron, copper, gold, and a whole bunch of other things.
Wait, so what do we use lithium for? Batteries?
Yeah, we use lithium for like everything, every type of batteries. Lithium apparently is like this really light type of metal. It can float in water. And lithium is not like these solid metals that we see. It's actually like you can literally tear through it with a dull knife. It's not
Hmm.
like iron or any of these other types of metals like copper, whatever.
Right.
So it's
And then
used for
Iraq has
batteries.
oil.
Iraq has oil.
So it's always something. There's
It's
always,
always
because
something.
I mean, look at Cuba. What the fuck does Cuba have? Nothing. That's why U.S. is not invading them.
Right.
Or like Haiti. Or what's another country that's, I don't know. I mean, or Venezuela.
Yeah.
Well, Venezuela
Well,
has a
Venezuela
lot of
had
oil.
oil. Yeah, they had a
So
lot
how
of oil.
come U.S. hasn't invaded them
I don't know.
or came up with an excuse to invade them?
Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Didn't didn't at one point we had some type of differences with them?
Well, yeah, the guy that was president before, like he hated the U.S.
Right.
I think this I forgot his name, but I think it was like the current president. Like he doesn't like the U.S. at all. Like
Yeah.
he despises Americans.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it you kind of like get deeper into these subjects and you realize it's not just what they present to you. You know, there's a lot of other reasons why we would be invading these places. Because if it was just about the Taliban, we shouldn't be there. Like, it's way too fucking long. On top
So
of
how
that,
come we're leaving now?
well, one of the things that I saw is Afghanistan also has one of the largest, or they're the largest developers and manufacturers of poppy to make all these opioids.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I was reading is that now with this new virus, I don't even want to say the name of it, this new virus that has came about and caused a pandemic, and with these things that people are getting jabbed on, I don't want to say the name of it either, but I think everybody catches my drift. Um, the pharmaceutical companies found ways to make a lot more money than they would with these opioids. So that's kind of why they're pulling away from it now.
Wait, what do you mean? What do they find?
Do you want me to say it? Vaccines.
Oh, you're saying, well, but isn't it private companies that develop that?
I mean, it's private companies, but they're funded by other companies as well. It almost becomes like a shell company in a sense. Like they choose one company to do it, but there's other investors that are behind it.
I see. But like, how are they getting money if it's free?
What?
The jab.
I mean, it's free for Americans. It's not free for the rest of the world. When you're sending this stuff to different countries, they're paying for it.
Okay.
Or if they're not paying for it, then they're doing something along their legislation to help out the United States, whether it's helping us with imports, exports, whatever. It's always about dealing with people or making friends.
Right.
It's not so much like, oh, here's some vaccines, let me get some money in exchange for that, you know?
Yeah. What about the FDA approving Pfizer?
Doesn't really change my opinion on any of this stuff. Like, how many things has the FDA approved on that are completely lethal to humans? Like, or that they don't even talk about, like sugar, you know, all these other things, like all these synthetic sugars.
Yeah.
Does not change my mind whatsoever. Like, people will always bring up that excuse, like, oh, it's not FDA approved. Yeah, that sounds good, but even if it is, like, do you really trust the FDA? I personally don't.
Yeah, but I feel like now it gives them more of a reason to mandate stuff.
I mean, sure, but man, that's why I'm hoping, you know, the this whole recall thing that at least here in California that's happening right now, with the Governor Newsom. Hopefully, we get a new official elected in. One of my favorite ones that I've been looking at. I can't even vote here in California, but one of the ones that I've been looking at is Larry Elders. And he said that before he takes even his first cup of coffee, he's going to take down the mandate for all these vaccines and masks as soon as he gets in office. So I'm like, that guy has my vote, but I can't vote for you. Sorry.
I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we
We'll
will,
see. I
man.
mean, but like, there's only so much they can control too, because even in Florida right now, like, some school districts are suing the governor because he's not enforcing it.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. There's only so much you can control.
Yeah, for sure.
Even
But I
the
mean, that,
president can't really control shit, I
well,
feel.
yeah, that's what makes us the United States, you know? Like, technically, each state is supposed to be its own entity. And then united, we make the United States of America.
Right.
That's why each government or each state has its own government.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder why these governors, like the governor of Florida right now, like, is he not scared of like getting his funds cut by the federal government?
I mean, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is, but they haven't
But he doesn't look
implemented
like it.
something as of yet.
He's just like not giving a fuck. He's just doing whatever he thinks is right.
Well, Florida is also a very special case because Florida, in particularly, gets a lot of money through tourism. So if that ends up happening, they're going to end up taxing more tourists and just figuring out some ways to make more money, you know?
Do you think one day these like every state can have their own jurisdiction? Like they can be treated as like its own country?
I mean, technically, that's how we're supposed to operate. That's how the United States works.
But why is it called the United States?
Because we become one when we're united, but each state is supposed to have its own legislation, and it does. Like it has its own rules and stuff like that. Like there's some states that still have the death penalty, some that don't. You know, so each state has its own legislation.
Do
But
you like the fact that each state can make their own rules?
I kind of do because if I really hate the state that I'm in,
You can
then I
always
could
move.
exactly, and I'm still in the United States.
Yeah, but what does that mean if like every single state is making their own rules? Like what does it mean to even be an American?
I mean, we still have federal laws and we still have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and we have all these other things that we abide by, but each state, when it comes to like these smaller laws and things like that, they have their own jurisdiction.
Why do you think the right is being so suppressed nowadays?
I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with, again, like going back to children, because I feel like all these young people, for the most part, are all on
Liberal.
the left wing. Yeah, they're all liberal, but I think they were like they were kind of trained to be that way, you know, especially with like teachers and stuff like that. Teachers, for the most part, are liberal, and
Yeah,
now
but
they're
not every kid was taught that.
what?
Especially, like the not every kid was taught to think like that.
Yeah,
There
but
are states that kids are till today they're being taught on how to think more like a conservative.
not compared to liberals. I think the liberals outweigh the conservatives in that sense, and also
I
like
think media has a
traditionally,
lot to do with that.
yeah, media definitely has a lot to do with that. But I also
Like
think
especially with
traditionally,
movies and stuff like that. Like when like these celebrities, like especially celebrities living in LA having that liberal mindset, they can influence a shit ton of people.
right?
Because if you hear like fucking Julia Roberts or whatever, I don't even know why I said her name, but like whatever like celebrity you look up to, and they start stating their ideologies or whatever, you're gonna like you're gonna listen because they're that person.
Yeah,
They're a
but that
celebrity.
also goes back to the whole cancel culture. The reason that they say these things and they kind of coincide with the liberals is because they don't want to be canceled. They want to be in the spotlight. They don't want to be put to the side.
Right. Yeah.
So they're
So they're
they're a
like
puppet.
working hand in hand.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you think the left has only like been like that recently since the cancel culture? Or you think it's been like that for a while now?
I think with this whole cancel culture, I think within the last like decade or two, it's been worked up a lot higher. And like I said, even like going back to the kids being liberals, I think people that don't have money tend to be more liberal than conservative. So kids don't have money growing up. College students don't have money. It's only when they have money that they realize like, why should I pay for the taxes of everybody else when I earned this shit myself? You know,
Hmm.
just because I made more money doesn't mean I should pay more taxes.
Instead of just looking for a handout.
Exactly, exactly. So,
Yeah, I never thought about that.
yeah, I definitely think it has a lot to do with it.
So the economy has a part of it too.
For sure. And now, and especially nowadays, if you're looking at Joe Biden giving free money to all these people, they don't want that to stop. But they don't realize that that's just putting us closer and closer into socialism and then eventually communism. And
Damn.
then people look at communism like, oh, it's not that fucking bad. Like it's not that bad.
It
Why
sounds
did
bad. How do people not think that?
Yeah, because people don't think that far into it. They think, oh yeah, everybody making a salary and stuff like that, but they don't realize all the negative that comes with it. Why are people escaping Cuba? Why are people escaping North Korea? Why are people escaping all these other countries, like these authoritarian countries, like even Afghanistan now with the Taliban and stuff like that, and these Middle Eastern countries? They're escaping it for a reason. You know, even Arnold Schwarzenegger that really recently said like, "Oh, screw your freedom." What? Weren't didn't you
Isn't
come from freaking the Iron Curtain, the Soviet Union? You escaped that to come here. Now that you got your freedom, now that you got your money, now you're saying screw your freedom. Like, did you forget where you came from, my guy?
isn't that what America is built on? Freedom? Like free to do whatever, free to practice whatever religion, free to do whatever you want in life.
I mean, it is, but people kind of lose sight of that because they're so damn American. Like, they haven't traveled outside of this country to realize how it's like in other places. You know, like
Yeah.
where we came from Brazil, so we see how it is. Even though it's a democracy, in other aspects of life, we see how corrupt it is out there. And we see all these things happening. We're like, I don't want to be in that country. I want to stay far away from that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? So people don't realize how good that they have it here in the United States until they leave and go to other countries and they're like, oh, okay. Now I get it. You know, there aren't people clinging on to a damn airplane to come to go to freaking Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan. There's people doing that from Afghanistan to come to the United States. Why do you think that is?
Insane.
Yeah, shit is crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think capitalism is definitely dying. Which
Ah,
sucks because I feel like capitalism is like what makes things fair. Like
yeah.
whoever provides the most value gets compensated the most. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
No, I
Absolutely.
agree. And I mean, don't get it
I don't
twisted.
think
There's
everyone should have a handout or like have a universal income just
right.
because you exist.
Right. And that's the thing too. Like I feel like everybody's always so obsessed with looking for a perfect system. We have to realize that there's never going to be a perfect system ever. There's always going to be some people that like this system and people that don't like the system. Like with capitalism, there's negative things that happen because of capitalism. Like for example, what's the main thing in capitalism? Making a profit. So at the end of the day, you could say fuck the environment. You just care about making that profit. So that's the negative that comes with capitalism. But I way much rather prefer that and us figuring out how we can regulate and control that and still work with the environment as opposed to going into some other type of society.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Plus, like, I think it widens the gap as like between the rich and the poor too.
Yeah, it gives somebody that's completely poor the chance to be rich.
Well,
And
yeah, it gives them the chance. That's a good part. I'm saying the bad part, like it widens the gap. Like there's no middle class like anymore. You know, like the
oh,
middle
okay.
class is getting eliminated.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. With socialism, that definitely happens. It's funny because all these people that talk about socialism and that are trying to get this country to be socialist, there's recently a YouTuber, a streamer that out here in California bought like a $3 million house, and he's a socialist. And then I'm thinking, like, what? Like, aren't you a socialist? Isn't that what socialism's not about? Like, what about redistributing your wealth? You know what I mean? But they're like, oh, fuck that. Like, I'm gonna buy my house. I'm gonna get some money. Even Bernie Sanders, he has like 3 homes.
Right.
That's not what socialism's about.
Right?
Right. But that's not what socialism's about. And then people be like, oh, it's their own money. They could do whatever they want with it. Yeah, I agree, because we live in a fucking capitalistic society. If we keep it that way, they can continue to do that. If they become socialist, then only the people up top are going to win. And then the people at the bottom are going to freaking suck for eternity, because we're all going to be stuck in the same damn boat.
Like, even socialism, like, they would probably tax the rich a lot more.
For sure.
Like, a lot more. And that's,
for sure,
that's going to make no one want to do business in that location.
Right. That's not going to make our economy productive.
Yeah, I don't think so. If you're getting taxed, like, half of your money is going to, like, you know, the government, fuck that. I don't want to do fucking business there. I want to go to wherever I'm getting the least amount of tax.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just know that recently, in the past couple of years, I've definitely been getting a lot more political, and I've noticed. You too, though. You too, and like there's nothing.
Yeah, I actually never
it.
been. Yeah, that's true. Because I never really been too involved, but now it's like it's really affecting our lives.
Mm-hmm. Of course, bro.
So I have to know what's up. I have to know, like, what is the true information, or like the true way of thinking, because a lot of shit that's happening I kind of disagree with, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what can we do to change that?
Exactly.
Or, like, is there other people that think like me, you know?
And there are a lot of people that think just like you, and that's the thing, is like being able to find that community and going against the narrative that other people are pushing on us, you know, because if you just stay quiet about this stuff, then you're slowly allowing it to happen. But when you realize that there's more people that think like you, that's going to help motivate you to push forward and be like, nah, I'm not going to allow this to happen. I'm going to actually go and vote, even though you might not necessarily believe in that system and stuff like that. It's something that you can do, as opposed to just sitting there and not doing anything.
Yeah, I just hate how, like, these big tech companies are, like, just one-sided companies as well. Like, they're not letting people express themselves.
No, they're not.
They're
not
considering, like, the opposite mentality, misinformation.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing with, like, recently they had, like, Nancy Pelosi, which is, like, I believe the 3rd richest person in Congress, something along those lines, and she's always pushing a certain narrative, but at the same time, she's in cahoots with all these companies like Google. Like, she had a meeting with the owner of Google. Do you really think that her and the CEO of Google, aren't going to talk about certain insider information that's going to help her, because she has so many fucking stocks in Google? Do you honestly think they're not going to talk about certain things like that? Like, he's going to be like, oh, so we're thinking about dropping this new thing, and do you think Nancy Pelosi is going to be like, no, stop, you can't tell me this stuff because I own your stocks? Hell no. She's all ears for that shit.
Of course, if it's benefiting her.
And then people are just dumb and oblivious to it. They're like, oh, whatever. Just like the whole thing with the governor here in California, Governor Newsom, when he was mandating all these masks, that everybody had to wear masks, and all these restaurants were closed. Nobody could dine indoors. Meanwhile, this guy is sitting, him and his friends, inside of a French restaurant privately eating with no masks on. And then same thing with schools. He closed all the schools, yet his kids are getting private education. So it's like, bro, like, you people don't realize that these laws aren't made for them. They're the ones making the laws to implement on you.
Yeah. That's so unfair. That makes me want to hate a person.
Right. Like, even Obama, he just had a fucking birthday party with like 700 people. I'm like,
Yeah, I saw some videos. No one gave a fuck.
right. And then nobody wants
And
to talk shit about Obama.
yeah, exactly. No one. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Why are you doing it? Imagine if Trump would have done that.
Oh my god, they would have lit him up on fire.
That's what I'm saying, man. And like, people don't realize these things. Like, and it's mostly a lot of the voices that are being heard nowadays are these college kids and these young kids, because they're on social media, and again, they're mostly liberal because they don't have money, or they just have a certain mindset that are being pushed by their professors or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, man.
Oh fuck, dude. I honestly don't know what America's gonna look like within 5 years. I'm very curious, or even 10 years. Like, what is America gonna look like?
I don't know.
What do you think it's gonna look like?
I don't know, but I know that China is right behind us, looking over our shoulders right here, like, what's up? Because another thing that happens is we're so concentrated on battling each other.
Yeah.
China doesn't have to worry about that shit. They're fucking communists. They just concentrate all their resource and they say, let's fuck America up.
Mm-hmm. While we're over here dealing with each other.
We're out here shooting our damn neighbors.
Dominating the world.
Exactly, bro. And that's the thing. It's like, we can't come into agreement with anything nowadays, whether it's vaccines, masks, Black Lives Matter.
Which makes me think, like, is
everything.
this shit being done on purpose?
I personally believe it is. I think it's pushed by certain narratives, even like lobbyists from China. Like, why, if China is trying to destroy the United States, why wouldn't they want to do that? Why wouldn't they spend money and invest into these things to make sure that this happens?
Yeah. Because, bro, like, there's so, like, as far as, like, the media, there's, like, polar opposites right now, bro. Like, or, like, just the mentality between people right now. Like, it's either you're fully right or fully left, bro.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be in the middle nowadays.
Yeah.
Because of, like, the laws that is being implemented into our system, and, you know, like, all that shit affects us, man. And I feel like it's sort of being done on purpose to divide us, bro. Like, even me and my family, like, the mentality that my family has versus me are complete opposites, bro.
Right.
And that's like family, bro. Family is getting divided.
Yeah.
So what makes you think you're not gonna, like, what makes you think you're gonna give a fuck about your fucking neighbor or a stranger that you meet on, like, you know, at the grocery store?
Exactly, bro. It's exactly what it is. But I mean, hey, conquer and divide, right? That's how you conquer everything. You just got to keep dividing people. Or divide and conquer, not conquer and divide. Divide and conquer.
So where would you go? I always thought of, like, going to Australia if like shit gets bad here, but I feel like Australia is even worse now.
I know, me too. Trust me, I thought the same thing. I was like, yo, Australia sounds dope. But
New Zealand was another place that I thought of, and that's also, like, bad.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, bro. Like, honestly, it's looking
in
like
Canada. That was a third, and that's even, like, worse.
Honestly, I'd probably end up going back to Brazil.
Yeah, but even then, bro, living in Brazil sucks. Even as a rich person, bro, you're spending so much money on just taxes. Like, they tax you for everything, bro.
For sure. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I would live. I don't want to live anywhere else. I want this country to succeed. I want the United States
but what if it doesn't? What if it just turns into a fucking hellhole because China took over?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
What if it turns into a communist?
I'd rather concentrate that same energy and try to keep it from turning into that, as opposed to thinking about something that hasn't happened yet, honestly. But I feel you. Like, it could fucking happen. Yeah, but
you gotta prepare for the future, bro. You gotta prepare for all case scenarios.
I mean, sure. But if it gets to that point, I think I don't know. I don't know where I would move. I have no idea. Because, I mean, like we just said, like, I always thought Australia, not going to happen anymore. I never thought of New Zealand, but that sounds dope too. Not going to happen anymore. Canada, because they speak English, definitely not happening. Plus, it's cold. For sure, ever not happening. I mean, it would be a country like Brazil.
Mexico.
Mexico. China. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope it never gets to that point where I have to move out of this country.
Yeah, but I am worrying about it. I am worrying about the country. Like that, it does cross my mind that it could turn into a fucking hellhole.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the direction that we're heading, if we, like I said, that's why it's important for us to say things and be vocal about these things, because if we don't, then we're just part of the problem as well.
My question is, what are the rich people doing? Where are they gonna go? Where are they gonna take their private jets?
I don't know. That's a good question to ask a rich person, though. Like, hey, if you couldn't live in the United States, where would you live and why?
Yeah. Or even when shit does hit the fan, like where are they gonna go? What's the first thing in your mind? And what are you taking with you? You can't take land.
No, hell no.
You can't take a lot of things. A lot of your possessions, cars, boats, yachts. You can't take that out of the country.
Yeah.
Even gold to a certain extent.
No, yeah.
I think U.S. doesn't allow you to export gold
at all.
That's some bullshit. That is.
But I mean,
shit.
If you got money like that, if you're rich, then I'm sure that you have assets in other countries as well.
Yeah. Maybe Switzerland, huh?
I don't know how it works out there, honestly. And I haven't heard shit about them like for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You say that now until you get there and you're like, oh fuck. It's not what I imagined.
No, yeah. I have no idea where to go, honestly. Like I do think of the possibilities though. It's either like we fight or we fly. I don't know, dude. I really don't know. But I'm very curious though, because depending on what you do now, that's gonna affect your future. Yeah. So if you play your cards right now, you could benefit tremendously in the future.
Yeah.
Right, Nick?
That's right, Marty.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Podcast. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button on YouTube or follow us on Spotify or leave us a review on Apple. Follow us on the gram. And and just pray that this country is gonna not turn into a shithole.
What do you guys think on this? Like, what's your take? Do you agree more so with what me and Marty are saying, or do you kind of think on the opposite side? Like, what?
I think if they're thinking in the opposite side, they wouldn't even be listening by now.
I mean, see, personally, I like listening to the opposite side because I want to know, like, what are some good points that they're making.
But that's you. A lot of people, they hear the opposite side, they're like, they just tune out. They're like, nope, that's not what I agree with. That's not what I believe in. Let me listen to something I do agree with.
Yeah, I guess so. But shit, eventually when we're big enough, they're going to have no choice but to fucking listen to our side as well.
Yeah, if they don't suppress us. I don't know what is up with these big tech companies, bro, but I can't rely on them.
Nope.
So.
Sell drugs.
Yeah. Maybe we're not even going to blow up because of that. because of our mentality.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like
These algorithms are so smart nowadays.
you can already count China off the books. That's for damn sure.
No deal that The Rock is getting or John Cena.
Exactly. But hey, man, I'm okay with it. I'd rather not suppress my own ideologies and my own feelings towards certain subject for a fucking paycheck. Like I'm gonna get my money regardless. So
Yeah, but what if you rely on that? Like what about these big YouTubers? You know, like they rely
sure.
on their viewerships. Like, what if your channel just gets striked, gets deleted? How are you gonna communicate with your audience? What if
It is what it is.
What if they do to you what they did to Trump?
That's a
Cancel your
possibility.
Twitter, cancel your Facebook, cancel your YouTube. How the fuck are you gonna communicate with the world?
I mean,
Live TV?
you gotta think it's pretty crazy when Trump gets banned from Twitter, yet the Taliban has a Twitter account. Like,
Yeah, I
what
said
type
that
of
in the last
fucking world
episode.
do we? Yeah, this shit is crazy.
But but like seriously though, like people that are making a living off of the internet, if they get striked, if they get canceled, how the fuck are they gonna make it, bro? Unless you already have like the money that you earned like working for itself or like investing in something. How the hell are you gonna make it work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Years of development, years of work just thrown out.
Patreon.
What if Patreon doesn't accept you? See, you're always
OnlyFans.
relying on something else.
No, yeah, I feel you. That's why you make your own platform, make your own website.
Yeah, but even then, what if they, what if the
Ban your
government,
website.
yeah, ban your fucking website, bro? Then
Whatever,
what?
bro. You just gotta fucking make some money somehow. Like, you can't even think about all that shit, or else it's gonna limit you to stop saying what you want to say.
What, are you gonna become a janitor?
Fuck it. If I gotta survive, that's what I'm gonna do. But hey, I mean, I personally, I could get clients, so I'm not worried about that shit. What are you gonna tell me?
What
What
if,
if all your clients don't want to fuck with you?
but not, no, that's you. What if like, let's say David Dobrik, for instance.
He's David
Like,
Dobrik, bro.
what the fuck is he gonna do if all his shit gets striked?
There's gonna be people on the opposite side that's gonna want to hire him because of what happened to him. Just like that lady that recently spoke out. I forgot what she was on. I don't know. She's like this big actress, and she spoke out. She's a conservative, and she spoke out against a lot of things that were this like liberal mindset, and she got canceled. But that's when the right picked her up, and they were like, "Nah, you're not getting canceled," and they started fucking sending her money through um, GoFundMe and like things like that. There's always
Right.
going to be people that think like you, bro. That's the thing. There's always going to be people
No,
that
I
share a
agree. I
similar
agree.
mindset.
I just, I'm just like it's scary what happened to Trump. It's scary, bro.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I'm not going to allow that to stop me from saying what I want to say.
Yeah, but this is what gives us the voice is these platforms.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your followers, your subscribers.
I also think that there's also that I forgot the name of this rule or law that when you try to cancel something, it only becomes bigger.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But you gotta have to have a platform to host.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think cryptocurrencies come into play, honestly. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that they can't shut down because it's on a blockchain.
Yeah.
So I think that's something to look forward to, honestly.
Yeah, we're in a very special moment in our history where there's a lot of power and dynamic shifts. So, the
Yeah,
next 5 to 10
big.
years, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to change.
Oh yeah, big wealth transfer. I think
Hmm.
people that aren't rich now could be rich in the future, and people that are rich now might not be rich in the future.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about hemorrhoids at the end of this episode or the next episode? I told you to get that special
Nah,
ointment, right?
no. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast.
You already said that.
See you guys next week. I'm just doing the outro for the outro.
All right.
All right, guys. Peace out.